What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Sistas. This is season 9, episodes 18 and 19, okay? Yes, I'm going to try to review both of these episodes, and hopefully I do it in a good time, okay? I feel like I have a lot to talk about. Starting off with episode 18, right? Okay, so we get to the proposal between Karen and Aaron. And we also got a flashback of when they were sharing ice cream. Again, I don't mind the flashbacks. It's just the way that they make it look. Like, whatever filter is on it, I hate it. But nonetheless, Karen, of course, she questions if he's sure that he want to go through with this. And, baby, they're getting married, okay? At some point, I feel like we're going to get a sister's wedding. And that may be the end of the series. But that's just how I think the show is going to end. Now, I know some of y'all got in my comments and was like, girl, don't nobody want to see those spinoff with Karen and Aaron. Don't nobody want to see that. Yeah, okay. All right. I know a lot of people are not fans of Karen or Aaron or whatever. But when I was talking about on my last review is that the way they're setting it up, it would be a decent storyline. That's all I was trying to say, y'all. I'm not saying that I need a spinoff. I'm just saying, if we're going to remove them from the show, I can see a spinoff being in the future. That's all I'm saying. Okay? That's it. That's all. But moving on from there, Sabrina, she's talking to Damani, and he's telling her that she got to get rid of these embryos because he got back with his ex. Nigga, that has nothing to do with Sabrina. You've already made a decision, and at the end of the day, baby, the embryos are here. You had all this time to say no. You waited until we've actually formed embryos, baby. The baby's been on ice for a cool minute now, and now you want to say get rid of them? Go on somewhere. Please go on somewhere. So then he's like, well, my ex, she feels a way about it, and she doesn't agree with it. Baby, this was not about her. This has nothing to do with her. Like, I'm so confused because the Damani that we met is not this man. Am I tripping? Because I'm just like, wait. Your energy is so off, sir. This is not who we were initially introduced to. So, she's telling him, like, I'm not getting rid of my embryos. Those are my babies. I'm not getting rid of anything. And she tells him, keyword, y'all, she tells him, you signed an agreement. Keep that in mind, because the fucking writers tried to play in our face between this episode and the next. I'm so pissed off. Nonetheless, he basically says that, his ex doesn't want a deadbeat. Nigga, you're not a deadbeat. You're not involved. Like, I'm not understanding how you're not grasping the concept that these are not your kids. Yes, you donated sperm, but baby, that is where the bus stops. You're not supposed to be in these kids' lives. What are we talking about? I was so over Damani. So, then, I want to say the next thing was like Andy and Fatima talking. I don't really care about that. Nobody cares about talking about Gary. But one thing that I want to say is that Hayden had walked up, and I get it. He's dissing Andy. That's perfectly fine. But one thing I don't like is that the show has progressed to where Hayden and Fatima are working together. There no longer needs to be Hayden versus Fatima. There's no more arguing with them. There's no more dissing each other with them. It's one thing if it's like a funny joke, hee hee ha ha. But y'all have to stop making Hayden and Fatima sling mud at each other because they work together. Literally. It doesn't make sense. Like, it's weird to me that when Fatima be in front of Andy, she got digs to throw at Hayden. But behind closed doors, sis, y'all are in business meetings together. Like, what are we talking about? It makes absolutely no sense. Writers, do better. Moving on from there, Sabrina, she goes to talk to Maurice, right? And she telling him about the embryo situation. Y'all, why is she playing in our face talking about we had a verbal contract. Bitch, you just said that he signed something. So what are we talking about? And she's like, oh, I spent $20,000 on this. And here comes Paige out of nowhere. She's like, well, girl, we live in Georgia, so you can't just get rid of those embryos. Like, those are counted as babies. So that's not going to work. I'm just like, hold on. I understand we don't want to get rid of the embryos and all of that. I'm here for that. But, Sabrina, I could have swore you met with somebody to have them, draw up a contract. I thought she met with Andy to draw up a contract, or am I tripping? Is that not a thing? I'm so confused as to her saying that she only had a verbal contract with that man. That makes absolutely no sense. Hell, the whole concept of her getting embryos makes absolutely no sense, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day, okay? Now, I'm just going to leave that where it is, because we have a lot more to discuss when it comes to Sabrina a bit later. Y'all know who's getting on my nerves? That damn cop. That cop is getting on my nerves because he's literally bouncing around with phone calls between Danny and Andy. I'm sick of it. I'm disgusted by it. I'm over it. However, come to find out, Danny was on the phone with that man until 3 a.m. I said, Danny, so you mean to tell me you got all them hours to be on the phone, but not to clean up that house? I hope you were cleaning while you were talking, because that house is a mess. Let's get that in order. Okay, I get it. You trying to get over Tony, but baby, he ain't the way to go. Moving on from there, y'all, Andy mama gotta go. She should have been a 1 episode and done. And this may sound fucked up, but I just feel like what I thought we were gonna get out of Andy's mama, it ain't what we got. Okay, we're dragging it. I need her to go ahead and go back to wherever she came from. I don't care about her trying to chastise Andy about not having a family and not, having kids. Girl, your daughter has made partner at the law firm, okay? It's very clear that her career is the focus of her future plans, especially when it comes to family planning. Girl, go on somewhere. We do not care, okay? All right, so we actually see Fatima and Hayden. They're going to meet with the new WNBA player so that way they can add her to the roster of clients that they have in this little sports division that they've created, right? And I'm like, what's so interesting is that you have Andy sneaking behind Benson's back trying to get some things handled. However, you mean to tell me that Hayden, who's a tax attorney, and Fatima are just bringing in clients left and right, and they don't even have a sports division? I just feel like this whole situation could have been handled so differently. I understand that we were going to create the idea of having a sports and entertainment division of the law firm, but that's not where we went with this. I said, okay, fine. But again, y'all, this is one thing that I have a problem with. The WNBA player was interested in Hayden, but Fatima was like, oh no, I think he's gay. And it's like, okay, I understand it. Hayden should not be dating any of the clients. I completely understand that. However, what you not about to do, Fatima, is try to block any woman that tries to talk to Hayden just because you don't like him. Girl, that man is single. Let him do whatever he gonna do. I don't know, y'all. I just feel like the relationship between Hayden and Fatima, it has progressed at this point. It really has. So I don't think that we can keep doing the digs towards each other. Or at least let them be funny. Because that one wasn't funny to me. I'm just like, okay. You couldn't just say, oh, he usually doesn't mix business and pleasure. Come on. But I digress. All right, y'all. So we have Zach meeting with Mr. Keys, right? I'm going to be completely honest. I don't care. I do not care about Zach meeting with Mr. Keys unless we were going to find out that Mr. Keys was actually his daddy. That would have been the only plot twist that I enjoyed. I get it, but between these past 2 episodes, we have Zach basically experiencing the father that he never had. Good for him, but I'm just not interested. That sounds horrible, but I'm just like, okay. When we find out where Zach's dad is, it's like, oh, he packed up and moved to Canada and got remarried. I'm just like, oh, okay. That's all we got? moving on. Like, I don't know, y'all. Like, it's great that Zach now has a father figure, but honestly, I need Zach to go do some work. Like, I don't care about hanging out with Mr. Keys all day. Like, legit, Zach does not have a fucking job on this show. And it bothers me because literally between these past 2 episodes, we have seen him hang out at the gym, go eat with Mr. Keys, go hang out at a football field with Mr. Keys. Baby, you're doing everything but working. I'm not understanding. Like, put his ass back at the airport. I don't know. But I need Zach to do something. Moving on from there, let's dip back into Fatima and Hayden. Because Hayden comes into her office and, you know, he's really excited for them to be working on these WNBA players, right? However, Fatima's like, well, listen, I'm not going to be able to be in the meetings anymore because, you know, I really have so much work to do. And he's like, yeah, but we getting money together. Like, what are we talking about? And we bringing more money over what we doing than what you do for Andy. And she's like, well, you know, because of Andy, like, that's why I work here and all of this stuff. And y'all, I got to be completely honest. I need for Fatima to not work for Andy. Like, that's where I thought this division was going to go. I thought the division was going to go as far as Fatima no longer working for Andy. And I would have loved that. Because I think that we have crossed the line so much between work and friendship at this point. I definitely thought that we were going to go ahead and divide that right on up. Like, I completely understand where Fatima is coming from, saying that, you know, Andy is the reason why she's working there and all of this stuff. But at the same time, I'm just like, but girl, you're growing in a total different direction. You're not even focusing on anybody's divorce. Like, what paralegal work are you doing on anybody's divorce right now? None, because Andy don't have a case for that. And it seems like you're actually enjoying doing the sports stuff, like the entertainment stuff. So I'm just kind of like, Fatima, also, you are kind of like the brains of the operation. Like, it's usually your ideas that these players are falling in love with. So, y'all, I don't know how this is going to work. But like I said, I would love for Fatima to get from under Andy. And that way she can, you know, do her own thing. But also, can we please have her pass the fucking bar? Like, I'm sorry. Fatima has to pass the bar by the next season. Because there's no fucking way we're going to be in season 10 and she still ain't passed that bar. Because I feel like it's just kind of like, it's dragging the storyline. Y'all know what I'm saying? And again, this is why I wish that Robin was still around. Now, I know him and Fatima did not really see eye to eye. Because Fatima was doing way too much in support of Andy. That's the first thing. But I just kind of feel like if we want to follow how Robin was operating, because remember, when Andy had all her bullshit going on, he was over here putting Hayden in position to take over Andy's clients. And Hayden was like, I don't even do those types of cases. So I kind of feel like if Hayden was here, we could have definitely had a conversation where Fatima is able to find balance between working for both of them, or it would have been a transitional period where she is not so much working with Andy and moving forward working with Hayden. But you know what? I'm not a writer. What do I know? I don't write the show. Moving on. Karen, she ends up coming to the office, right? To the law office. Now, y'all, she sits with Fatima and tells her about the engagement and how she's ready to move and all of this stuff. Y'all, Karen is so ready to start a new chapter, but I found it so interesting. I said the first person that you told that you were engaged was Fatima? I'm so surprised that Andy did not walk in there with an attitude because she did not find out first. Like, I don't know. I feel like ever since Karen has been pregnant, Andy and Karen, they not really best friends how they used to be. And I really wish that we did not do the whole Karen is moving. And I wish we could have really showed how friendship dynamics change when a friend is getting married or a friend is having a baby. Like, we only got to see a glimpse of it because while she's going through postpartum depression, Andy was over there dipping out to go chase dick. Yeah, I'm never going to let that go because that was fucking crazy. But I feel like we could have definitely went a little deeper in that, but you know what? It is what it is, okay? So, basically, Andy came into the office, and of course, Karen is telling her all about, you know, her getting engaged, and come to find out, y'all, Andy has been going around saying that, oh yeah, because Karen and the other ladies, they're going to come to the office today. She never scheduled this. I said, now hold the fuck up. You mean to tell me you have Fatima doing all of this extra work, but you didn't think to have Fatima reach out to these ladies so that way they can come in for this impromptu meeting that you're planning on having? That's crazy to me. It just seemed like she was pulling an idea out of thin air, y'all. To be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to have Karen come here and then she can just bring the other ladies. I'm sorry, what? You act like these women don't have other things going on in their life. I thought that was absolutely crazy. And for her to be a lawyer, how are you operating like that? That you think that Karen can just call up these random women that she only met one time. She can just call them up and be like, come down to the law office, y'all. Drop whatever you're doing. Like, that was so crazy to me. I'm like, Andy, for you to be a lawyer, baby, where's your organization? That makes no sense to me. Like, it really made it seem like she had already had this taken care of. Her and Karen had already talked about this, and the ladies were coming and they knew what was happening. Am I the only one who feels that way? Because I thought that was absolutely crazy. But nonetheless, the ladies, they do agree to come to the office, right? And the thing is that Karen wants to really get to the nitty-gritty of what's been happening between Andy and Danny. And of course, Andy feels like Danny is jealous of her and that she's stuck with being with Tony and I got options and I can move freely. Girl, it's not even giving all of that. It's really not. Jealousy is not the word, okay? I feel like Danny is giving you the side eye because you are literally putting your friends on the back burner for dick. Literally. I mean, you're literally chasing after Dr. Vaughn, and he's not even your man. Like, you've been lying to your friends. Like, you are a trifling person. But you know what? Andy has been trifling. Andy has been trifling. I don't understand how everybody just lets it slide, especially that fucking Sabrina. Okay, I'm never gonna let that go. I just kind of feel like, Andy, I get it. For some reason, you think that you are that girl in all spaces. And that's not always true. Okay? But nonetheless, Karen ends up telling her about the girls' night that they got planned, right? Okay, so here's the thing. The ladies from the group, they show up, right? And next thing you know, they're like, okay, we're going to talk about you guys' testimonies and all of this stuff, right? Baby, why did Dr. Cruz walk into that fucking law office? And I'm like, whoa, what is happening here? So, basically, he walks in because he's coming to see Hayden. And I'm just like, again, Andy, that was all you, boo. That is your fault. You should have had them in the conference room. Why did you have them hanging in their damn reception area? Like, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. This whole thing just looks so sloppy to me. For Andy supposedly to be this top lawyer, girl, you're moving so sloppy. What is happening right now? So, I forgot to mention that Danny met up with Lucretia, right? Now, Danny is going off of a whole list of shit that's going on in her life. Her man stole her money. He got a gambling problem. Her hours got cut at work. This is happening in the friend group. All these things going on. And y'all, I can't lie, I was over it. When Lucretia opened up her mouth to be like, yeah, I think you have a cortisol imbalance. I'm just like, girl, that could very well be true. But what the fuck does that have to do with anything that she just told you? Like, that had nothing to do with anything that she just told you. Like, baby, you had no smoke for the fact that her man stole her money. And on top of that, he completely, changed on her. Because the man that she met is not who Tony turned out to be. That man quit his job and lost his mind. What are we talking about? But then you went on talking about, girl, you need to go get your cortisol checked. Child, bye, Lucretia. Bye, Lucretia. Moving on from there, the last thing we got for that episode was Damani popping up on Sabrina. And she's telling him, like, listen, in Georgia, like, those embryos are considered a baby, so I'm not getting rid of my babies. She's yelling at him, calling him a baby killer. I said, oh, hold on, Sabrina. Baby, I understand. These is your embryos. But what you are saying, again, y'all, my issue with Sabrina's character is that they have made her be this, like, fragile, naive woman. And it's like, she's not that. Like, I don't understand how y'all try to make her so, like, naive and childlike. Like, for me, some of these things that be happening to Sabrina, like I said, if they would have made her a late bloomer, it would have made more sense. But that's not what we getting with Sabrina. She over getting knocked down by Rock and ready to do drugs with his ass, but because she had to go to work the next day, that's the only thing that stopped her from that. But when you talk to Damani, you're sounding like a teenager, being like, no, I can't get rid of my babies. Like, you baby killer. Like, oh, it's so cringy to me. Am I the only one who feels that way about Sabrina? Like, I really feel like if they would have made her character be like an inexperienced late bloomer, or like, hell, even a woman who was like still a virgin or something, it would make more sense to why she reacts to things the way she acts. Like, am I going crazy with this thought? Like, or am I tripping? Y'all let me know. So, baby, next thing you know, his girlfriend shows up, though. Damani's girlfriend, she shows up to the bank, and she's like, we'll see you in court because you're going to have some fatherless babies. And, I mean, Miss Mamas is going off. I said, oh, baby, you got the spirit of Jordan's sister. This is like Jordan's sister 2.0. I can't even remember her. Penelope 2.0. Girl, if you don't go sit your ass down somewhere. So, moving on to episode 19, they're going back and forth. Next thing you know, fucking Rich pops up. And I'm just like, what's your dusty ass doing here? Okay? Next thing you know, Rich and Damani are going back and forth because Rich has always felt some type of way about Damani. And it was just a whole bunch of commotion. All this shit is happening at the bank. Okay? And I mean, his girlfriend was dissing Sabrina left and right, okay? And the next thing you know, Rich is hemming Damani up. I'm like, what is going on? Where is Maurice, okay? Where is Maurice right now? Now, according to this girlfriend, she's telling Sabrina that, if you weren't so difficult, then maybe a man would want to have a baby with you. Girl, what? What the fuck are you talking about? Also, Damani, I'm giving your raggedy ass a side eye because what the fuck did you tell her for her to have so much smoke for Sabrina? Like, were you trying to tell her that, like, Sabrina was thirsty and desperate or something? Like, what did you say when you told her that you donated sperm to this lady? I'm trying to understand. So, again, we got the threat of going to court. And I'm just like, Damani, you did all of this shit. And you supposedly have a high position at the bank. And you just acted a plum ass fool, you and your girlfriend, at one of the bank branches. That sounds crazy. Baby, I would report him ASAP. Because technically, you showed up to her job. Not the other way around, baby. So, they end up leaving, right? And Rich is still trying to talk to Sabrina. But baby, she has nothing for that man. She shuts it down. And again, y'all, I'm just like, okay, Sabrina, here we go. You are standing in it. You shutting it down with Rich. I love that for you. Now, what I don't need for you is go act naive in other things anymore. But moving forward, y'all. So, y'all, here we go with another confrontation, okay? We just wrapped up Sabrina and them. And now we have the ladies in the reception area of the law office, and they are seeing the man who killed their babies. Okay? So he's over here looking at them, and he's trying to say little slick shit. And next thing you know, Hayden shows up, right? And Andy's like, listen, you need to go ahead and take your client to your office right now, or whatever. Y'all, first of all, I'm looking at Hayden like, nigga, your energy for all these black women is disgusting, first of all. Like, at what point are we going to write that Hayden is going to be on a black woman's side? At what point can we write that? I'm trying to understand how you have a room full of women, black women, and Hayden is still trying to say little slick shit. I'm like, Hayden, what the fuck? Also, let's not forget, you're talking about Karen, and Karen is one of your fucking clients. Because y'all remember, Hayden and Fatima technically first started working together when it came to the hair product with, what's her name? Marie and Pam and all of them. I can't even think of the damn name of the hair product. But my point is, you started working with Karen. And I know he was making little slick digs then. But I feel like if that's one of your fucking clients, you should not be over here trying to make little digs at her now. Now, at this point, the ladies are pissed off at Andy. And honestly, it was rightfully so. If I was them, I would have walked the fuck out. I understand she's trying to build this case, but the way she's handling it is absolutely disrespectful. Girl, you literally have the man who murdered their babies in this fucking office. And then she tells them, oh yeah, well, he's represented by the law office. Girl, they don't want to be here. They shouldn't even be here. They need to find a whole new firm. And again, y'all, I would have respected it more if Andy was to, put her big girl panties on and be like, you know what? This firm does not want to represent this case. I need to move forward and start my own firm. That I could have respected. This I cannot. I have to be honest with y'all, because the way she handled it was terrible. And y'all, I'm so glad that the counselor who's over the group was there, because she's like, nah, ladies, we're leaving because this is some bullshit. So, I feel like Annie, she gave some type of speech or whatever. She low-key made it all about her. Let's call it a thing. A part of me be like, yeah, she want to do this for Karen and the other ladies, but also it would be really great for her career to win this big case. I'm just saying. So the ladies, like I said, they do deserve justice. And at this point, they decide that they're going to stay. So, moving on from there, y'all, we see Danny. She's at work, right? What time of day is it? Because when I tell y'all, I feel like we've been in the same day for forever. And whatever. So Danny, at this point, she is at work and she has gotten let go. Okay? Danny, they literally had a full list of reasons why your ass should have been let go a long time ago. So, girl, don't be sitting up here trying to lie and make it seem like you're such a great employee. Baby, you're not. You have multiple offenses and multiple violations, okay? Cut it out. Now, do I feel bad that she lost her job? Yes, because at this point, Danny is feeling lost and she's feeling like she's losing everything all at the same damn time. But baby, maybe that means you need to rebirth, okay? You need a reset. You need to figure out what you want in life. Because let's be honest, Danny, I'm pretty sure you want more than to just have, a little job at the airport. Come on now. Let's think bigger, okay? Let's figure out what Danny actually wants. Moving on from there, y'all, we got Fatima. She's in her office and Sabrina comes in, right? Now, Andy's so busy, so she can't really talk to Andy about this. So Sabrina ends up giving Fatima the rundown on everything that's going on with Damani, right? So Fatima's like, okay, so they showed up to your job. That's harassment. And Fatima's like, let me kind of look into some other cases when it comes to the embryo situation. So Fatima started asking questions, and she's like, wait, so how did y'all meet? And has he ever made a pass at you? Oh, yeah. We can see if there's a problem here. So, at this point, we all know that he definitely tried to make a pass at Sabrina. And they met literally at work. So, Sabrina is like, but yeah, there's this whole thing going on with like his ex, like not his ex, but his current girlfriend. Like, she seems to be like the person that's really like the driving force of this. And Fatima, because at first Fatima kind of felt like, oh, it's because like he thought he was gonna get you, but he never did. Which I still stand on the fact that he absolutely only donated his sperm because he thought this would be an opportunity for him to get with Sabrina. That's just how I feel. I'm gonna go ahead and stand on that. Okay? So, baby, they start talking about Rich. I promise y'all, I kind of zoned out. I zoned out a little bit when they start talking about Rich and Sabrina. But, whatever. I mean, of course, he wants her back, but she has no interest in him at this point. Okay? None whatsoever. So, moving forward, Fatima, she actually ends up calling Damani, right? Okay, I got something for his ass. She calls him, he in the car with his girl or whatever, and baby, she's using her best legal talk and basically threatens Damani, because she's like, okay, they're going to threaten you to go to court? Well, guess what, baby? I'm about to threaten their asses back. She told him it's going to be a lawsuit. She's going to reach out to HR at his job because he showed up and harassed Sabrina. He better not, show up again or even bring this embryo talk up again. And, baby, here's the thing. Damani, he over here trying to backtrack. But, baby, that big mouth girlfriend is like, oh, do what you got to do. Do this, do that. I said, girl, you're piping up so much. What the fuck is the issue? Like, it's giving weirdo now at this point. Like, what is your problem? Like, and what's crazy is that at one point, Damani is like, can you put Sabrina on the phone? So Sabrina get on the phone or whatever. He's over here apologizing. He like, we should have never reached out to you. I'm not going to bring this up no more. And Fatima made sure before they wrapped up that conversation to be like, okay, well, guess what? We're going to go ahead and draw up some paperwork to make sure that this never comes up again. Because those are her babies, okay? And you're going to sign this contract. I said, finally, have the man actually sign something, Sabrina. I don't understand how she did not have that man sign no paperwork, y'all. That's crazy. That is so damn crazy. But moving on from there. Zach and Danny, they were in the gym together. I said, we ain't never seen Danny work out. What the fuck going on? Okay, but I guess you wanted her to talk to Zach. Basically, she's telling him all the bad things that are happening in her life, and he's trying to give her some motivation. I will say I do miss their friendship, and I wish that we could get more scenes with Danny and Zach. But, again, it was just kind of filler for me. Moving on. So, we have the ladies giving their... Oh, you know what? Before I get to the ladies who all gave their testimonies, let me go ahead and finish up with Danny. Because Danny was randomly at Karen's salon. I said, what the fuck is this scene? Because Maurice is in the chair. Pam is pretending to do his hair. And I'm just like, Pam don't do hair though. Like, she literally is the receptionist. She has never done hair. Like, that woman is literally a receptionist and y'all got her pretending like she has some clippers in her hand. What the fuck is going on? Nonetheless, Danny is just sitting there just to be sitting there. And at first, Danny, she's talking about how she don't want to hang out later because she had, such a bad day. And then she ends up letting them know that she got fired as well as her hair is thinning. Girl, how about this? Take those braids out. Take those braids out, let your hair breathe, and then I think maybe your hair start growing back. Just throwing that out there as an idea. But nonetheless, Pam, she's like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with Karen leaving. Like, her job is kind of up in the air because technically if Karen were to sell the salon to somebody else, this could be a salon that wants to come in and change everything. You know what I mean? A new owner that wants to change everything about the salon, including the staff, because it has happened plenty of times where someone comes in, take over a business, and they're bringing in new employees. They're not keeping the same ones who are already there. So at this point, everybody just kind of like goes around the room saying if they were to have the salon, what would it be? So Pam is saying how she would love to own the salon, and Maurice is like, oh yeah, and I have men serving drinks, and Danny's like, oh, you know what? It'll be more than just hair. It'll be basically like a full-on beauty bar. And now these three feel like, okay, well, maybe we can take over the business. Okay, cute concept. Cute concept, y'all. But let's be so for real. These are the brokest three members of the fucking show. And I'm not trying to be an asshole about it, but literally, they are the brokest three people on the show. Y'all made sure everybody else had some high-paying jobs, or they came into some, a nice stacks of money. Some nice stacks of money. Like Andy, unless y'all about to bring Andy in as like a silent investor or something. Like, I'm trying to understand where the money gonna come from. Because Danny only got, what, $75,000 or $50,000? That's all she got. Unless she gets some more installments of a payment. I know that Pam has a business, but I'm not exactly sure how booming the business is. That's the second thing for that. Also, again, she's a receptionist at a hair salon. I don't know how much they make, but I don't think it's going to be that much. And Maurice is a bank teller. He may have the best ideas, but again, he is a bank teller. So how is this going to work? I mean, I don't hate the idea. I'm just curious to know how that would work for them to take over the business. Now, the only thing that I could possibly think of is if they're taking over the business and Karen doesn't sell it. They're kind of like renting the business out, kind of rent to own situation. Like they're leasing it. I don't know. I don't know how this will work. Okay. But at this point, they feel like they can take over the business together. All right, y'all. So let's get back to this conversation between Andy and these women who have lost their babies. Because at one point, what's his name? Benson? Yeah, Benson. He ends up coming into the conference room because that's where everybody is. And basically, he's like there to hear the testimonies. I say, now, Andy, how the fuck did you arrange that? You arranged that, but not for the ladies to be scheduled to come in. You know what? I'm going to let that go. Anyways, first of all, he started off on bullshit. He's like, well, I can't promise you anything. And, hopefully y'all can make it quick because I got other stuff I got to do. I'm sorry, the fuck? Nigga, you already know. I'm sorry, he ain't a nigga, but you already know what these cases are about. So the fact that you try to put a rush on it, that's a problem for me. And again, Andy, this ain't giving you the sign to be like, I'm moving on from this fucking firm. Make it make sense. So the first woman, she speaks about how she got a botched C-section. Nobody was listening to her. And come to find out, not only did she lose her baby, but Dr. Cruz performed a fucking hysterectomy on her. So now she can't even have kids anymore. Now here we go with Benson. He's trying to find a way to make it seem like it's that woman's fault. Like, oh, you didn't try to talk to anybody else and you didn't try to get paperwork. Whoa, buddy. And I love the fact that the counselor piped up. It was like, listen, everybody does not have access to those things, okay? So, scoot back up off of her. So then, we get to the next woman. She's telling her story about there were just so many microaggressions being thrown around out of Dr. Cruz's mouth. And please know, we saw that shit happen when he was supposedly trying to help Karen. We saw that all the time. And she was denied an epidural because she was planning on having a natural home birth, right? However, some things happened. She ended up going to the hospital, right? Her doula couldn't even get in. They would not allow her in. They kicked her husband out of the damn room. And she was in labor for 12 hours. And to make a point, and they basically use her as an example, Dr. Cruz denied her an epidural because at one point she didn't want one, but then she changed her mind. And he's like, no, basically you're going to suffer through this shit. That is so fucked up. That is so fucked up on so many different levels. And this woman tried to file a complaint, but she had no success in that because Dr. Cruz, as well as another doctor, basically tried to say she was making all that shit up. Like, that is so horrible. So now it's Karen's turn, right? Now, y'all, we already saw what Karen went through, so I really don't want to have to rehash all that. because it's really heartbreaking. But one thing about it is that Andy pissed me off, y'all. Andy pissed me off because Karen was getting emotional, right? However, Andy was trying to stop, the recording, because they're like recording the testimonies. She's like, oh, we can take a break. And I said, hold on, bitch, because every time Karen speaks about her babies, you kind of shut her up. And I don't like that shit, because it's been a few times at this point when Karen will mention forever, or she'll say something about her babies, and Andy is the first one to be like, oh, you don't have to talk about it. You don't have to mention it. Oh, we don't have to talk about that right now. Karen, we can take a break. We can cut the cameras. Like, let her talk. Let her fucking talk. And here's my frustration. Because y'all want people to be open and vulnerable to y'all, but at the same time, you want to shut them down because you don't really want to hear about it. Like, that's the vibe that I'm getting. You don't really want to hear about it. As heartbreaking as it is, you don't want to hear about it. Like, I don't understand how people want people to be vulnerable, but you keep silencing them. I'm like, literally, Andy, stop trying to silence your friend. This sounds crazy. So, like I said, Karen, she is going on talking about her babies and her situation. And y'all, again, Benson over here trying to make excuses for Dr. Cruz. Like, well, he birthed my children and my grandchildren. And nigga, we didn't ask you that. We ain't asked you shit about that. And he's such a great doctor, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, he treats white people very differently than how he treats black women, sir. Be so for real right now. So at this point, Benson has heard all the stories, and he feels like, they're going to drop Dr. Cruz as a client, and they will be representing the ladies in the court case, right? So at this point, the ladies are celebrating because it's like we finally are going to see some justice, right? So they're celebrating. At the same time, we have Sabrina and Fatima. They're very excited because we got Damani off Sabrina's back. And then we literally see Benson telling him to kick Dr. Cruz out, right? So Dr. Cruz talking cash shit like he always is, over here putting up a fight. Hayden is just standing there looking like a fucking doofus. And he literally sees all these beautiful black women and called them hood rats. I said, hood rats? First of all, who the fuck are you? And why are you even using that word? Like, are we okay? Baby, Karen stepped up. And she tells him, no, baby, I want you to remember our faces because we're the ones who are going to take you down. Okay? And that, if for some reason in that moment it clicked in I can't remember her name, but the second woman, I don't even know if they gave us names for the ladies, but the second woman who spoke about how there was a doctor that was with Dr. Cruz, and that, they basically tag teamed her saying that, Dr. Cruz didn't do any type of malpractice. She remembered who it was. Y'all guess who it was? It was motherfucking Dr. Vaughn. I said, well, the shoe fits over there, okay? Because let me tell you something. I don't even like Dr. Vaughn. I don't trust Dr. Vaughn. Dr. Vaughn be on some bullshit. Like, honestly, I would not be surprised if Dr. Vaughn was in with Dr. Cruz just so he could get information on what the fuck Andy was trying to do. I would not be surprised. Because that nigga just, He already said he never dated black women. Can't trust him there. Yeah. Never was feeling him. Y'all, let me know what y'all thought about it. What are y'all thinking about the storyline so far? Because I feel like the season is definitely about to wrap up. So, how do you guys think we're going to go into season 10? Just let me know what y'all thought about these episodes. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.